in at number 10, we have the Virgin Mary lip syncing. This is absolutely insane. In 2015, parishioners at the St. Charles Church in Sydney, Australia got a shock when they reported seeing the lips of Virgin Mary move in sync with the Lord's Prayer. For those skeptical, 2 churchgoers actually filmed the incident. The painting hangs above the church altar and is thought to have come from the Middle East. Footage filmed by young Catholic Christian curers was uploaded to YouTube, and I have to say it really does look like the Virgin Mary's mouth is moving. It also looks like Christ's hand moves at one point too. Kristen spoke to the press and said, "I believe it was a miracle and not just lighting, because we all saw it at the same time, and because her lips would start moving and then stop and then start again."
In our 9th spot, we have Victor Barrio. But before we go any further, if you guys are liking this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and of course, subscribe to our channel. Come on guys, it really helps us out, so hit that button, subscribe, ring that little bell. Victor Barrio was a 29-year-old Spanish bullfighter. Sadly, on July 9th, 2016, his bullfighting days came to an end when a 529-kilogram bull's horn pierced through his chest. This moment was captured in front of a live audience and also was broadcasted on live TV. Some people managed to get photos as this happened, and it's horrifying. You can see the look of pain on his face as the bull's horn just plunges through him. Like, I feel so bad for him and for all the people that had to witness it. It's so scary. In our 8th spot, we have the Panama Hikers. Chris Kremers and Lizanne Froon were 2 young Dutch females that saved up to take a trip to Panama. Except while on a hike in the Panamanian jungle, the 2 disappeared. It wasn't until months later that their bodies were found, but it's still unclear how the 2 died. The last photos taken of them were in April of 2014, the day that they went on the hike. They are selfies of the girls looking very excited to be on the trip. These photos were found on their camera, which was found in a backpack along the banks of a river. The camera also contained other pictures, like of the jungle in the dead of night. Maybe they were using the camera's flash as a source of light. Another photo showed the back of Chris's head and it was bleeding. Again, it's so scary looking at these photos. Like, these poor young girls had no clue what was about to happen to them, and they were so excited for their trip. Coming in at number 7, we have the drowning. On October 22nd, 2003, Tina Watson and her husband, David Gabriel, went out scuba diving on their honeymoon. They just got married 11 days earlier, and scuba diving was part of their honeymoon itinerary. Now, in this photo, if you look right at the back, you can see a diver laying on the seafloor. That's Tina Watson. A few minutes before this photo was taken, it's believed that her husband turned off her air supply and held her underwater until she drowned. Then he swam up to the surface to alert other divers that she was in trouble. The photo was captured accidentally, and you can see the divers going to help Tina. Some say he held her underwater until she drowned. Others say he saw her struggling as a new scuba diver and just kind of left her there to die on her own. Either way, he pleaded guilty to manslaughter, and that was the last photo ever taken of her. In our 6th spot, we have the Dimalov Pass incident. In February of 1959, a group of 9 experienced hikers set out to traverse the snowy mountains of Siberia. However, they all ended up mysteriously dying one by one. This photo was one of the last photos taken of them. Now, this case has been debated about for years, and there's tons of theories as to what happened to them. Some say they were hit by an avalanche at night and died from exposure. Others say a yeti got them. In fact, there was a picture of a creature that looks like a yeti found on one of the explorers' cameras. But it's a very odd case. Like, their tent was found ripped open from the inside, 2 bodies were found and they were only wearing underwear in the freezing cold. Another explorer's body was missing her tongue, eyes, and lips, and 2 of the other bodies had major chest fractures. To cause someone that much damage, it would be like equivalent to a car crash. And another hiker had a really high level of radiation on their clothes. It's just crazy, and to this day we don't know what truly happened. We all have these theories, but the only ones that really know are the hikers in the photo. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with the Submarine Murder. Back in August of 2013, freelance journalist Kim Wall got an interview with Danish inventor Peter Madsen. As part of the interview, Kim was set to take a trip on his homemade submarine. This photo shows Kim aboard the submarine just before her trip. Sadly, once inside, Peter killed her and dismembered her body. Why did he do this? Well, some say he became became fascinated with murder and torture. Evidence showed that he had been watching videos of women being killed on his computer, and shortly before he beheaded Kim, he watched a video on it. So it was clear that he had a fascination with it. It's sad that Kim had to be his victim. In our fourth spot, we have the Facebook murder. A couple of hours after this picture was taken, Cheyenne Anton left, used the black belt she is seen wearing in that photo to strangle Brittany Gargle. The two were best friends, but apparently got into a heated argument and Cheyenne hit and strangled Brittany. Imagine taking a selfie with someone you thought you could trust just for them to go and kill you a couple hours later. It is so sick. Now, Cheyenne actually got away with this murder for 2 years until police finally found this photo on her Facebook and noticed that the belt that she was wearing was the same one found at the crime scene. She then pleaded guilty to manslaughter and was sentenced to 7 years in prison. Moving on to number 3, we have Parkour gone wrong. Pavel Kashin was known for his dangerous stunts and abilities. In 2013, he challenged himself to do a backflip on the edge of a 16-floor building. He successfully completed the backflip, but as he landed, he lost his footing and fell over the edge. He died instantly. This photo was captured by his friend while he was performing the stunt. You can see he's in midair doing his trick. Sadly, that was the last stunt he ever performed. And at number 2, we have the Stalker. On February of 2017, best friends Abby Williams and Libby German headed out for a hike in Indiana. This photo is of Abby Williams, taken right before they were both murdered. What's very disturbing is that in the background of these photos, you can literally see their killer lurking there. Apparently, the man was stalking them for quite some time, and in the girl's photo roll, they actually got some pictures of him, probably because they felt like he was following them. So in the last photo ever taken of Abby, you can literally see her killer behind her. It makes me so sick. Worst of all, he's never been caught. There's currently a reward for anyone that can identify the man though, so hopefully they can get some justice soon. And in our number 1 spot, we have the gruesome scene. This photo is going to send shivers down your spine. But before I show you, let me give you a quick backstory. So this photo was taken of Travis Alexander while he was taking a shower. It was taken by his girlfriend and murderer Jody shortly before she stabbed him 27 to 29 times. She also slit his throat nearly ear to ear and shot him in the head. It was a very gruesome and sinister murder. In this photo, you can see how uncomfortable Travis looks. It's almost as if he knew she was up to something. He looks absolutely terrified. Now, the camera that captured this photo was actually tossed into his washing machine as an attempt to destroy it. But it didn't work, and some of the photos were still salvageable, like this one and one that she took of Travis's dead, bloody body. I saw it. You don't want to see it.
Mother centipede protecting her young creeps us out in at number 10. Okay, what the heck are we looking at? This is definitely not okay. I think I'm losing some of my precious eyesight here, but seriously, what kind of demon monster is this, and what the heck is he doing on Earth? He looks like he belongs to some weird sci-fi movie from the 80s. This mama centipede shouldn't be allowed to exist, and how many babies is she protecting? It looks like there could be hundreds of these creepy crawlers, and to tell you the truth, I don't think my heart can handle this picture, so you know what? Let's move on.
Coming in at number 9, we have the Anguished Man. I absolutely cannot stand looking at this picture. I know that art is subjective, but I can't imagine having to look at this painting ever, let alone having it as a focal spot in my home. This painting is called The Anguished Man, and the urban legend goes that it was painted with the artist's own blood mixed with oil shortly before they killed themselves. That's right, painted in blood, then they committed suicide. Great! Once again, why would you ever hang this? The owner, Sean Robinson, was handed down the painting by his grandmother, but claims he doesn't display it because nobody likes it, and I wonder why. On the few times that he has displayed the picture, he and his family have reported strange goings-on such as bangs and voices and strange smells. They even reported that the painting moves of its own accord. Trying to find proof, Sean set up a camera in his spare room and recorded the activity over the evening. This is a piece of the footage that was recorded in June 2011. That's right, there it is. Now, according to Sean, the painting was at an angle and against the wall, and there was no drafts present, so it should not have been able to fall like that. This next one is a little bit of an urban urban legend, but stories are all over the internet. Coming in at number 8, we have Sonny's suicide painting. So according to urban legend, a teenage Japanese girl called Sonny drew this picture and then scanned it into her computer and uploaded it to the internet. The image reportedly had quite the effect on viewers, who said that they saw sadness in her eyes. They also saw her face change expressions after staring at her. In South Korea, the story garnered a lot of momentum, and people would claim that they stared at her for longer than 5 minutes, her face would twist into a taunting smirk. According to the legend, some people who stared at the picture for longer than those 5 minutes were compelled to commit suicide. Now it turns out it is all just an urban legend though, and the picture is by an artist called Robert Klang. The girl in the image is a fictional character called Princess Rue. Coming in at number 7, we have the Misty painting of Bernardo de Galvez. Look at this majestic fellow. This is powerful historical Spaniard Bernardo de Galvez, who was instrumental in the Spanish military in the late 1700s. The city of Galveston in Texas is named after him, as is the city hotel, Hotel Galvez. In the hotel, there is an oil painting of Bernardo that is reportedly haunted by none other than the chap himself. The painting sits at the end of the downstairs hallway and is quite the feature. Despite being a beautiful old painting, a lot of the guests at the hotel simply don't like it one bit. A lot of people have complained that they feel cold when they're near the painting, and almost all guests of the hotel will tell you that they feel Bernardo's eyes moving to watch you. It seems if you try and take a picture of the painting without asking permission of the late great Bernardo de Galvez, it will come out blurry. However, if you ask nicely, the picture will be clear. Those eyes though, I mean, they're clearly seeing you. Coming in at number 6, we have the painting of Ivan the Terrible and his son Ivan. This 1885 painting by Russian realist artist Ilya Repin has been causing a stir since it was created. The painting shows a mortally wounded Ivan being cradled by his Tsar father, who has wounded him. It is reported in history that he murdered him, although a lot of critics challenge the historical accuracy of that statement and this painting. Nonetheless, it is one of the most famous Russian classics, and it is currently in the Moscow State Technikov Gallery. When the painting was first unveiled, a lot of people claimed to be deeply unsettled by it. Some say they saw something terrible within the picture, other than the already terrible subject matter. In 1913, a mentally ill man slashed the painting with a knife, and it was restored by Repin himself. Once again, the painting was slashed in 2018 by a visitor to the Moscow Museum. Now, he reported to be shouting that he saw terrible images moving within the picture. The man was identified as Igor Podporin, who claimed that he was overwhelmed by something. He later blamed vodka for his outburst. Coming in at number 5, we have Love Letters. Love Letters is a painting of a 4-year-old girl, Samantha Houston, who was painted by Richard King in the style of a pre-existing work by Charles Trevor Garland. Samantha was the daughter of a Texan U.S. senator who died in 1887, aged 4, when she tripped and fell down a staircase as she sadly chased a ball. It seems, as a tribute, the Driscoll Hotel in Texas had a painting of her commissioned. Now, this still stands there today on the 5th floor. It seems that Samantha's spirit may have imprinted on the picture, as guests say that they've heard her giggling when they're nearby. Many guests report feeling like she's trying to tell them something, saying that they've seen her expression change when they look at the picture. Coming into number 4, we have a moving morning portrait. Now, this is a really scary video uploaded to YouTube in August 2008. Uploaded by Haunting Painting, it is called Scary Ghost Girl Painting Movements Captured, and it's pretty accurate. The painting is of an unknown child in the 18th century and is reportedly a mourning painting, a memento mori. This basically means a painting of a person that's died and it's been commissioned in order to remember them. Now, it seems that this mystery girl is haunting her own painting. The narrator of the video says that she sometimes weeps and that occasionally her mouth opens. Now, this moment was captured on camera, right? Terrifying. Now, a lot of people in the comment section are calling this fake, but honestly, I really didn't like looking at this picture while I was scripting this video. Coming into number 3, we have a painting of a headless man. I am not okay with this painting. Why? Well, because at first it looks like a nice little depiction of an old station wagon. That is until you realize there's a freaking headless man hovering around in it like a decapitated creep. The artist Laura P. painted this image in response to a photograph James Kidd had taken of a stagecoach stop in Tombstone, Arizona. Her finished painting was hung at an office in Arizona, but after 3 days, staff demanded it be returned to her. Workers said that their papers would go missing and that the painting seemed to always move. They reported that despite being constantly straightened, the painting would always become crooked on the wall. Laura then took the painting back and hung it at her home. Unfortunately for her, the weird occurrences surrounding the picture followed her. She said that doors would start opening and closing on their own in the room that the painting was in, and a glass even smashed in her hand right in front of the picture. Laura has expressed a desire to have the image destroyed, regretting ever creating the painting. She is worried what will happen if she does have it destroyed though. She doesn't want to anger the spirit. Coming into number 2, we have The Dead Mother by Edvard Munch. Like, Edvard basically just needed a hug. If you recognize his name, that's because he is the artist that was famously behind The Scream. I don't like The Scream either. I mean, it's a very, very good painting and very expressionist, but it freaks me out. However, I have to say this painting freaks me out harder. Munch's work is notoriously filled with pain and anguish, which is more likely than not down to his poor health and his difficult upbringing. His mother died when he was 5, which probably explains this unsettling painting. Now, the painting is called The Dead Mother and was completed in 1900. The picture is already scary to look at, but it gets even creepier when you hear what those who have owned it or worked with it have to say. Firstly, the little girl's eyes are said to incessantly follow people wherever they go, but worse still, it is said that the sheets on the dead mother's bed rustle or move. Some have even sworn that the little girl leaves the painting altogether. Coming into number 1, we have the Hands Resist Him painting. Ugh, this again. I feel like this has come up on a few top 10s before and I do not like it. The Hands Resist Him painting gained notoriety in 2000 when it sold on eBay for just over $1,000. The seller claimed it was haunted, and actually, it probably is. Reportedly, 3 people involved with displaying the painting died, including the art dealer and the art critic who first reviewed the piece. Hands Resist Him is a painting by Bill Stoneman. Now, the name is said to have come from a poem written by his wife about her husband's adoption. In the painting, a boy is seen standing next to a creepy-looking doll whilst disembodied hands pour at a glass-paneled door behind him. The painting was found abandoned in a Californian brewery, which is where it seems the couple who listed it on eBay found it. The wife wrote, "One morning, our 4.5-year-old daughter claimed that the children in the picture were fighting and coming into the room during the night. Now, I don't believe in UFOs or Elvis being alive, but my husband was alarmed. To my amusement, he set up a motion-triggered camera for the night." Now, the couple claimed that the motion camera even captured the boy exiting the frame under duress from the doll. It was also thought that the hands in the background move. I don't like this. Now, the painting was bought by gallery owner Kim Smith, who shows it on request. She does so less and less these days because people keep on complaining of falling ill after viewing the picture. Since gaining notoriety for Hands Resist Him, Bill Stoneman has created a prequel and a sequel image, both of which are horrifying.
Starting off this countdown, we have The Plot to Kill. This photo was taken of Thomas Bart Whittaker on the left and his younger brother Kevin on the right, just hours before Thomas planned to have his family killed. So apparently the two brothers were just goofing off and their mother wanted to take a photo of them. Then later they went out for dinner as like a little celebration for Thomas completing his exams, which was a lie. Anyways, while they were at the restaurant, Thomas had his friend enter his home and retrieve a gun and stage a burglary. He then waited at the front door for Thomas's family to return home. Once they did, he shot Thomas's mom and brother. His dad managed to survive. The photo shows Thomas's happy younger brother, but little did he know that his older brother literally had a plot to kill him. It's so disturbing.
Creepy ghosts interrupting dinner brings us to number 9. Okay, let me set the scene for this next picture. A family just finished eating a lovely dinner, and they thought it would be a good idea to capture this moment with a picture. But little did they know that there was someone else crashing their dinner party. A spooky figure can be seen hanging upside down from the ceiling. I don't know about you guys, but if I saw this unwanted visitor in one of my pictures, you best believe I'm gonna hammer in a for sale sign on my front lawn, and then I would get the heck out of there. I wouldn't even need to pack a bag because who cares at that point. Scary Santa makes his creepy appearance in at number 8. He knows when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake, but has he ever heard of a mirror? Okay, no, seriously, Santa, what the heck happened to you, buddy? Okay, please don't bother sneaking down my chimney and bringing me gifts, because I'd rather you didn't. I mean, who the heck did you piss off at the North Pole? As a future dad, we're actually delivering in January and I'm super excited. Well, as a future dad, if I went to the mall and saw this raggedy, creepy looking Santa, I would literally take my child and run back back to my car. I wouldn't want them scared for life. Don't look back. Don't look back. That's not Santa. A tragic zoo accident takes us to number 7. In 2014, this poor man found himself in a very bad situation. I mean, take a look for yourselves. What you're seeing is a picture that was literally taken seconds before this man was mauled to death by a white tiger. Somehow he managed to fall into its enclosure at a zoo over in Delhi. Police said that the 22-year-old was drunk at the time and jumped over the fence and into the enclosure despite warnings from the guards. I mean, why was this guy drunk at a zoo? This doesn't sound like, my idea of a good time, and unfortunately for him, it definitely wasn't. Climbing up this list, and at number 6 we have a possessed woman. Okay, do you guys remember these red box rental machines? Well, I don't, because I'm from Canada. I've never seen this before, but apparently you guys were able to go to one of these kiosks and rent DVDs or video games. Sounds pretty cool, right? Well, this picture is about to change everything. Is this real life right now? Is the red box performing an exorcism on this girl? No one's neck should be able to bend like this. I'm not even entirely sure if she survived this, and I guess her rental was probably late, but in all seriousness, is this the reason why red boxes were removed? I'm thinking, yeah. And now at number 5 we have another picture that was captured moments before a death. During a routine scheduled maintenance, 2 people found themselves stranded 80 meters above the ground on top of a wind turbine. A short circuit caused the turbine to catch on fire, and the only escape route was engulfed in flames. The 2 mechanics had no other choice but to wait for the inevitable. They knew what their fate was going to be, and they knew it would be only a matter of minutes before they died. I mean, this is so morbid, and I can't imagine what I would be feeling if I was trapped up there, if I was in that moment. I'd probably never stop fighting for my life, but then again, there was literally nothing that they could have done to save themselves. The creepiest family to have ever existed breaks onto our list at number 4. I don't even think you guys are ready for this next picture, so let's count it down together, alright? 3, 2, 1, and BAM! Yeah, I come with my own sound effects. But whoa, where the heck did this family come from? I thought my yearbook picture was pretty scary, but this family portrait definitely beats it. Who do you guys think is the creepiest? I'm gonna have to go with the dad on this one. It looks like he's super disappointed in me, and it looks like he wants to give me a whooping. Then we have mom. She looks like a gangster. This is gangsta mom, who is protecting her hood. So I'll just back away now, but we can't forget about the poor kid. She can see what her future looks like, and I think it's safe to say it's looking pretty bleak for her. Up next, number 3, we have the demon in the hospital. And no, I'm not talking about that nurse who is trying to find your vein. I'm talking about this scary looking thing on top of a patient. This picture was captured from a surveillance camera, and it shows a dark, crouched figure standing on top of a patient's body who is laying in bed. The figure can be seen walking up and down the patient's body hours before he died. Some people say that hospitals are like breeding grounds for demons who gather there to wait for their next soul to die so that they can drag them to hell. Someone is watching you. Okay, who's watching me? Alright, well, this comes in at number 2. Okay, don't look now, but you might have someone. Sorry, I gotta look again because this is freaking me out. But you might have someone or something behind you watching your every move. This was the case for a mother and son who were out in the yard just having some fun. When they went out there to get pictures developed, well, they noticed that they weren't alone. Are you guys able to make out the creepy face in the door? Well, I think it's safe to say that her house is definitely haunted, and I wouldn't be rushing to go back inside. I'd probably just abandon my house, call it a loss, and move on with my life. Well, I would try to move on with my life. I'd have a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of nightmares. At top of this list, at number 1, we have the creepiest mask you've ever seen. During the 1960s, a man named Edward Paisnell, well, he would put on this rubber mask, break into your home, and torture women and children. This was the only piece of evidence that the police had until the murderer was finally caught with his mask during a routine traffic stop, and this was back in 1971. So just how creepy was this mask? Well, take a look for yourselves. Yeah, you guys have no chance of sleeping tonight, at least not peacefully. This guy looks like another version of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre killer. If you guys want to have the scariest costume next year, I think we all know what needs to happen. You need to get your hands on this mask, but you may not have any friends once Halloween is over.